All right, we start with the big story this evening. Viewers, this is extremely concerning piece of news coming in, and Times now has been leading the coverage with regards to what has happened ever since an FIR was filed against The Wire. Now remember, as trouble continues to mount for some of the main founders, the main editors of Wire, it seems there is no end to the legal trouble for these editors. Facing heat for fraud, the homes of 2 editors and 1 deputy editor were not only raided, but electronic devices like mobile phones, laptops and tablets were seized by the crime branch yesterday. And after the raids, the news portal claimed that the due process was not followed during the searches. The Wire alleged that electronic devices were seized without mentioning any hash value, which is a unique numerical value which is used to ensure the integrity of the device and its data. Now, the lobby rushed to give clean chit to the editors, interestingly, absolving them from the alleged fakery. Their reasoning is why the crackdown if the publication has already retracted the report and also expressed regret over the same. The ecosystem also claims that the searches are nothing but an absolute abuse of power and a direct attack on the press freedom. It asks why the cops are acting on the complaint of BJP's fake news peddler-in-chief Amit Malviya, and tablets were seized yesterday by the crime branch. After the raids, the news portal claimed that due process was not followed during the searches. The Wire, remember, alleged that all of these devices were seized without mentioning of the hash value. Those are the allegations that are being leveled, and in a way a cover-up also, a cover fire that is coming in from the larger ecosystem. The centre also, interestingly, has slammed the Wire for playing the victim card and absolving itself after indulging in this misinformation campaign. We spoke to Union Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who said that the Wire is known for pending a pre-invested narrative. Listen it.
I think the consequences of that report have been fairly consistent with what they have done in the past, and I suspect is very core to their strategy, which is they shoot first and there is a underlying sense that their objective is more of a pre-invested narrative of slandering people. And I think that is why Amit Malviya has approached the courts. Absolutely unfortunate that there are platforms like this that are going around peddling stories that are, at the best they are wrong, and at the worst they are manufactured with malintent. So it's not healthy for a country of ours, which is 80 crore Indians online. We have done studies in the ministry that misinformation travels faster than and wider and creates a wider audience than the correct information by almost a factor of 8 to 10 times the speed, and significantly higher numbers of audience that it reaches. That is the very nature of intermediaries and social media platforms.
So let's open this up and try and understand why is it that some are today feeling so very sorry for The Wire, for some of its editors. Let me go across to Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP, and George Kurian, political analyst, with us on this broadcast. Mr. Kurian, my first question is to you. Since there are many who are today saying that, look, they were misled into the story, they thereafter apologized, and hence this police crackdown, the searches that were carried out yesterday are absolutely uncalled for. In fact, they've read into this as a crackdown on freedom of press. I want to then ask you, does this quite add up with what The Wire is maintaining? Because here is a media portal who up until now, up until all of these details came to light, all of their investigations fell flat, were maintaining that they're standing by their reporter, by their researcher, and suddenly they've gone ahead and filed a complaint against him, and look what they've stated in that complaint. And now you have this whole ecosystem coming out in support of this very establishment who's not standing by their very own, who they were supporting for so very long.
A very good evening to your viewers. We have to understand the foundation of The Wire. The reason why it was founded is a reaction to a political environment that the nation has been witnessing since 2014. Is my audio coming to you?
Yeah, clearly, very clearly
properly?
we can hear you. Go ahead.
I'm able to, I'm listening. There's a lot of delay and getting my own audio.
Okay, we'll try and fix that. If you can just make your point and we'll quickly go across to Charu Pragya.
It is hitting back at me.
Okay, so we'll fix it. We'll fix it. In the meanwhile, let me bring in Charu into the conversation. Charu, what do you make of this? Because Mr. Kurian, of course, as he began his argument, tried to hit out at the...
I'm able to...
We'll come to you, Mr. Kurian. We're trying to fix that line. Let me take in a word from Charu Pragya. Charu, what do you make of this? This whole ecosystem that in the past, interestingly, by the way, has demanded the arrest of several journalists who, in their view, crossed the line. And today, here they are saying that, look, The Wire and its editors have apologized. They've taken down the article as well. They've stopped their work against, the BJP leader, and they have retracted. So why is it that, all of this is still happening, and why is that the police is acting upon Amit Malviya's complaint?
So, Kritsween, I have a question. Since when does freedom of press encroach upon the rights and dignity of other citizens of this country? What allows them to forge documents, use these forged documents for the purpose of defaming another? Also, you have to see that every single time there has been an article which is not correct, which is fake news, which is propaganda, simply retracting it is not enough. And The Wire has done this kind of a retraction more times than I care to count. So do you think every single time retracting an article and saying, hey, we are sorry, is it enough? Are you not damaging enough people's reputations with your misreporting? Mr. Malviya has done the thing which needed to be done long back. They need to be called out. There has to be punishment for this, and the sections levied upon them will make sure it happens. So 420, 468, 469, 471, 500, all of them are very serious documents relating to cheating, forgery and defamation. They are going to be behind bars. Another thing that today The Wire is throwing Devesh Kumar under the bus.
Yeah.
And they are very happy to do so.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Mr. Siddharth has gone around boasting to the platformer that why are you giving credits for the article on Tech Fog to Devesh Kumar alone? I was a contributor to it. Come praise me.
No,
so at one point of time,
that's a valid point. How is it? Mr. Kurian is back. Charu, we're also fixing your line because there's an audio trouble with your line as well. We'll come back to you. Meanwhile, Mr. Kurian, what Charu is saying is very, very relevant. Devesh Kumar, their very own, has been thrown under the bus today. And this is very interesting because up until now, Mr. Vardarajan kept saying, yes, I'm hands-on involved in the story. So why is it that only Devesh Kumar is to be blamed today? And everyone is feeling sorry about this entire episode?
Well, coming back to your question, let me begin again. The very reason The Wire was founded back in 2015 it's a reaction to a political environment that the country has seen in post-2014. There is no room for dissent, and that's the reason The Wire has been in place. It's a free press, free journalism, free press foundation. The Wire has been recipient to many awards, Free Press Journalism Award and Excellence and things like that. And it's a matter of grave concern that BJP is countering The Wire today in such manner that it's trying to suppress their voice, and I'm sure this will not make any impact to The Wire or its editors because they are seasoned journalists, and they are open to legal actions, and they will face it in court.
No, forget The Wire's ideology and its intent and its journalistic ambition. Mr. Kurian, my question is very simple. If we go by facts here and what's come to light and where the investigations stand, how is it quite adding up?
Well, as I said, Amit Malviya has alleged that his reputation is under fire, and is a concern for him, and it's a case of forgery and things like that. The Wire has a legal team where it will give the answers, and in the court of law. So they are not scared about anything. In the past, The Wire has been alleged with many defamations by law.
And they have been forced to retract many a time, so Mr. Kurian.
This is nothing.
So those are not just allegations. It doesn't quite end there. Charu Pragya wants to... All right, we heard you. Let's hear what Charu has to say. Charu.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, unfortunately, he has not addressed the point on why is it that Siddharth first boasts on the platformer and then disassociates with the article. So, when you're getting praise, you want to be a co-author. And when the article has been proved to be a fake one, it has to be retracted. You just say the first author can go to jail and I have nothing to do with it. You have not responded to that. Secondly, please tell me, if because of fake news your reputation is damaged and tarnished, do you not deserve some sort of legal recourse? Why is it that you're defending it even today when all the proof points against the wire?
Mr. Kurian, how would you respond to that?
Well, as I said, again, I'm repeating, Mr. Malviya, or for that matter, anybody for that matter, is free to go ahead and challenge anybody in court if they have the requisite number of evidences going against them.
Mr. Kurian, let's specifically talk about the...
Okay, Mr. Kurian, the point in question is, have the editors, the senior editors, not thrown Devesh, their very own, under the bus? Have they not completely pinned the blame on him while they were working, apparently, and that's a confession like Charu's also pointing out that has been made in front of several other outlets, that they were very much hands-on with regards to that very investigation and the article?
It's on video. Thank you, Kritsween. It's on video. You can go back to it. If you've not heard that interview, please go back to it. Maybe you will come back on TV and say, I take my words back.
Well, I've not gone through that the video what you're mentioning right now, so I'm not aware of that case. But as I said, the wire
so
people
then
who are sensible.
You know why this question comes in, Mr. Kurian, is because in the past there have been publications that have been forced to apologize, not just to the viewers, but to other publishing houses as well, who have taken up stories, and none of this has happened. Conveniently, we've just seen the blame being shifted to a man who was a part of the story, who, by the way, was a co-author up until now. But Charu Pragya, another question that is at the moment being asked, and that's also very interesting, is that with regards to the searches that were carried out, the Information Technology Act of 2000 lays down that the hash value of confiscated electronic evidence must be taken before it's sent for forensic analysis. Now, the allegation coming in from Mr. Vardarajan and Mr. Venu is that that's not happened.
Yeah.
Charu.
So, you know, Kritsween, I only want to say this. Till this statement does not come from the investigators themselves and they admit that the hash value was not written down, I don't want to believe anything which is coming from the mouths of the accused. I'm very sorry. Let the authorities speak about this before we discuss it.
Okay. So, since we're talking about what happened during the searches, Charu says, let's wait for the police to come out with a statement and explain as to what really happened on ground. None of us are in a position to say that. Be the ecosystem that continues to defend the wire. So let's talk about another reaction coming in of Mr. Moily, who's called this an assault on press freedom. That's exactly what we were discussing, how there is growing sympathy for some of the editors of the wire, for the wire on its whole. And Mr. Moily says it's an absolute abuse of power, a direct attack on press freedom. Listen in.
Absolute, the abuse of power and the outrageous act, and this is a direct attack on the press freedom and also the liberty of the people. And I think this is, you cannot excuse this. When the entire nation should have, or the administration should have focused on arresting the culprits in Morbid Bridge, collapse of the Morbid Bridge. They are blind about the situation in the country. They are only concerned about their own existence, their own progress, and their own elections.
So very, very interesting, because here's a section of people, the ecosystem, that believes that if the wire is retracted from their article, why feel the need to go ahead with searches? Why try and think about arrest? And the same ecosystem, the same section of people were in fact demanding arrests of other journalists in other case when they did not quite agree to their view. So very, very interesting. Mr. Kurian and Charu, I'm going to have to leave it at that. We need to